Hello and welcome to Factorio Fixit. My name is Negative Root and we've got another episode. We're back with Shot2bits, I reckon. That's what game we're playing. Yeah, Shot2bits. Whoops. I just reloaded that. Anyway. Never mind. So he decided to send me a save. His next factory. Now this one has 17 hours as opposed to the 12 or something in the last one. And we have Charlie Sheen's greatest dream. Lines everywhere. Now, Shot2bits sent me an email. He said, oh, look, thanks for the original episode. Thanks for your thoughts. And I want you to have a look at this one. Now, at first I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then I realised this is a central bus design that's been taken to the nth degree. And the poor thing is, I'm afraid this factory is destined to fail. It's just not gonna work. You'll notice that everything is on lines right now. So that's like pipe. This is like laser turrets. These are walls, solar panels. It's all on. It's all on this growing central bus, and you can see by the map that it's just taking off. You know, you go from being one or two lines out to being like 2 dozen. So that is tough. Now, clearly, you know what the idea is: run a central bus this way, and build your shit this way. Like that's a good idea, right? That's very well organised. You can tell that Shot2bits does put a lot of thought into his factories. Except with most of this stuff, like for example stone bricks, you don't need it on a bus. Like you just deal with it locally. Like you come up with a design that uses all this stuff locally rather than piping it through everywhere and getting this ever-growing bus happening. Like these pipes, for example, they're being piped into routed in to run the engines, and then they're being run further. I don't know why. With the central bus design, what you really want to do is have two things, maybe three, maybe four, and the fourth is optional. So the two things are generally your iron and your copper. That's what you want running throughout your entire factory. That's the arteries. You then want steel from a certain point onward. Generally what happens is you run your copper and your iron down this way, and then you have your steel and you run it off as a spur. So you have everything requiring steel coming off this way. And then with your circuits you build them locally. That seems to be the generally accepted idea. That way it only has to work as far as it needs to be. If you have too many circuits sitting around, it becomes very, very taxing. You'll see here that getting the supply, especially for iron, down low enough is just very, very hard work. And that's just how this design is going to be. To get anything down the bottom, so any raw materials down here is going to be very, very hard because you've got all this shit running off it beforehand. And generally all you want to be doing is running your iron and your copper and then spurring your builds off of that. So running, for example, if you want laser turrets, right? So you run you make electronic circuits on the spot with this and this. You run in your steel plate and have batteries being piped in from your oil factory up here. And that's normally how you would do that. You would tackle the smart inserters similarly. You would run your normal inserters off your Science 2 setup. So have, instead of doing this kind of thing, where you've got your yellow inserters, you come here, you build, you grab the copper and build your circuits on the spot to make your fast inserters, and then you direct insert them directly into a smart inserter factory. So I think this design, it's just taking the whole bus concept to the nth degree, and it's really counterproductive for a lot of it, because you'll notice that my research is about to flick into logistics robot, right? So you've spent 17 hours setting all of this up, and it effectively all becomes pointless in 5 minutes flat, because you can replace all of these outer ones that don't require a lot. So for example, your stone bricks, right, that you don't need a lot of them anywhere ever. Like, the only times you need them is here for your electronic furnaces, and here for your oil refineries. That's pretty much the only times when you need stone bricks. That and walls. So three opportunities where you need it, and you can build all those three in a small amount of space, and do it that way. So this factory is really flawed, basically, and fixing it would amount to construction robots, and lots of them, and deleting pretty much all of... Oops, too far. Deleting like all of this, everything from the copper and the iron plate outwards, and then reorganizing everything. That's what I would do from here. Because this is just going to get harder to manage as time goes on. Having this much storage of red circuits is just not going to be helpful. Like, it's great and everything, but it's just going to make the game much harder as time goes on, because you're going to need throughput, and you're going to need resources to be used in an effective manner. And if you've got these big long belts, you'll notice that there's a lot of lag between when you build something and when it actually gets used. So say if this is, well, let's go find the red circuits, right? Oh, and it gets better. Oh, he's doing that as well. So for example, right, when something gets put out onto this, okay, what we'll do is we'll just sit on the belt and we'll time this. So that's 6 minutes 42 seconds while I talk. So we'll just we'll just sit on this belt, and I'll just show you how long it takes to get through the factory down to the processing units, as an example. So right now it's 15 seconds and we haven't even turned the corner. So like this is, you can see where the concept is, and the concept itself is actually a pretty good idea, running everything and having everything handy, but you got to make sacrifices. You can't have it both ways. So you need to do this kind of thing with your main items. So your iron, your copper, steel, they're your main items that you want to do this with. And then perhaps maybe green circuits. I'm still debatable about that one. This is 45 seconds and we're nearly back to where we started. Let's just grab that while we're going. And there's a minute. Now, so that is a minute after this has built it, and we're not even back to where we started from yet. So I'll just take over control and make sure I jump over these. It'll affect my timing a little bit, but you'll get the idea. Oh, there we go. Oh, well, there we go. Oh, there we go. It's like a bit of a challenge, really. And I'll talk about a few of these intermediate products shortly. Okay, so there we go. We're on the homeward stretch now. Well, we're not really, but we're almost at 2 minutes now. The reason this lag is a problem, you're not going to your factory isn't going to work efficiently. Okay, you're going to make a change, and then you're going to have to wait, over 2 minutes to see if it was effective. You want to see straight away. You want to have that reaction straight away. So you'll notice that your production, right, over 10 minutes, okay, these graphs will show you quite quickly, and he's producing good numbers at the moment of everything, but just need to make sure it's tweaked, and you make the sacrifices that you need to. So you run what you need to, where you need it. So that's we're coming up on, that's 2 minutes 30. Yeah, basically 2 minutes 30, give or take 15 seconds for my shitty timing, and it'll be to where it needs to be. Now, the longer this bus gets, the worse it'll get. Basically, that is, very challenging for your efficiency. Okay, because all of this can run out of stuff, right? And it'll just be sitting and waiting for for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, okay? If this red circuit factory suddenly goes offline. And that kind of lag isn't a productive thing. Now, the next thing. These intermediate products, so gear wheels and copper cable in particular, they are notoriously bad. Like, you'll notice that they both take 0.5 to make. That means you can crunch out so many of them, it's not funny. That means that you really don't want to be putting them on belts if you can avoid it. You need the inserter stack bonus. So this kind of idea of running it, you know, again, you can see where the concept is, and it's a good concept. You just need to make allowances and kind of say, okay, well, you know, we need lots of these, and maybe we can make them on site, and realize that that's probably the better way of going. So anyway, yeah, generally direct inserting these is the way to go. Again, running, like, for example, okay, say you've got transport belt, right? We've got a bus running all the way down here. All you would do normally is just make everything on site. Now, I don't want to go changing the entire factory design. Like, I'm not gonna do any building in this episode, I'm afraid. So, if you hate that, well then, you know, quit now, basically. Because this is never going to be used anywhere else. The only place it's going to be used is here, in the fast belt, and then the fast belt will be used in the express belt. So generally what you would do is, you know, you only need one factory of this, there's more than fast enough, and then have that feed, you know, your red and your blue right here. Okay, no lag, gets it all sorted. You send your yellow from a splitter down to your green science, and do that that way. Kind of fixes the problem. Now, you'll notice that this has no iron at the moment, because it's being eaten everywhere. I must say, props for the order of things though, because copper cable and iron gear wheels, the first two things being made off the bus, so that is a good thought. Same with green circuits, yeah, good idea. Make those three things early, because they're quite heavy users. It just means that it chokes the rest of the supply line and doesn't let it have a crack at anything. Oh, the other thing is that long-handed inserters, their speed is quite poor. It's like 1.5 times that, whereas that's 2, I think, out of memory. So that's a 1, that's a 1.5, and that's a 2, and that's a 2 as well. I reckon that's how it works. So in terms of keeping this thing fed, it's never going to keep up with the with what it needs. So you can see now that it's waiting. It's waiting. So it's not quite quick enough. You see that? It's just got to wait. So yeah, this has been this Factorio Fixit. Unfortunately, I haven't been much help, because fixing this factory per se would require quite a heavy redesign, and one I would need several episodes to tackle. So if you want to see that, you know, please comment, let me know. You know, this series is new, and I'm not sure what direction it's going to go into, but Shot2bits did ask for my thoughts, and there they are, be them good, bad, or otherwise. As I said earlier, you know, I was heavily impressed with his last factory, and this one, well, you can see the concept is there. It's just not quite right. Interesting design, though, I must say. I've been Negative Rube. Thank you for joining me. We'll stop this episode here, and I'll see you in the next one.